Find somewhere comfortable. You don't need to follow any of this closely. You don't need to hold on to a single word. Just let the sound of the voice arrive and let it move through you the way distant music does. If you're lying down already, let your body be heavy. Let the bed hold you. You've been carrying yourself all day, and you can put that down now. Whatever happened out there, whatever was said or not said or left unresolved, it doesn't need to be solved in the next few minutes. It doesn't need to be solved tonight at all. Tonight we're going to talk about something that most of us carry around more than we'd like to admit, something that can feel hot and close and urgent one moment and then hollow and exhausting the next, something that has probably visited you today or recently, or maybe it's still here with you right now, sitting at the edge of the bed like an unwanted guest who doesn't quite know how to leave. We're going to talk about anger. Not in a way that judges it, not in a way that tells you what you should have done differently, or how to be better, or calmer, or more patient, just gently. The way you might talk about it with someone who genuinely cares, who wants to understand what it is, where it comes from, and what it quietly does to you when it stays too long. So settle in, let your shoulders drop. The night is patient, and so are we. Here is something worth knowing about anger, and it is something that tends to get lost in all the noise around the subject. Anger is not a flaw. It is not a sign that something is broken in you. It is, in fact, one of the oldest and most faithful parts of being human. Think about what anger is at its most basic. It is a signal, a flare sent up from somewhere deep inside you that says, something here is not right. Something matters to me, and it is being threatened or ignored or taken away. Anger is the emotion that arises when something you care about is at stake. Your safety, your dignity, your time, your love, your sense of fairness. It shows up precisely because you have things worth caring about. There is something quietly important in that, if you let it land. You wouldn't feel angry about things that didn't matter to you. The anger, underneath all its heat, is pointing at something real. Developmental researchers have noted that true anger, the kind that is recognized of the anger as distinct from general distress, doesn't even fully appear in us until we are almost a year old. Before that, babies express discomfort and upset, but the specific emotion of anger, with its particular quality of being directed outward at something, seems to require a certain level of awareness first, a sense of self, a sense of the world. Anger, in other words, requires a mind complex enough to notice injustice. That is not nothing. But of course, you know the other side of it too. You know what it feels like when the anger is too much, or lasts too long, or comes out sideways at someone who didn't deserve it. You know the strange exhaustion of being angry, how it burns energy you didn't have to spare. How it can make you feel wild and out of control even when part of you is watching from a distance, wishing things were going differently. You know the feeling of lying here now with something still simmering that you can't quite put down. That's what we're going to explore, gently, starting from the inside. When anger arrives, it doesn't knock. It doesn't wait to be invited. It moves through the body like a wave, and it does so with extraordinary speed, faster, in fact, than conscious thought can follow. Deep inside the brain, tucked into the ancient architecture that we share with creatures far older than our species, there is a small structure that works something like an alarm. It is roughly the shape and size of an almond, and it sits at the core of the system that processes emotion and memory. This little alarm is always listening, scanning the world, scanning your experience, watching for anything that looks like a threat. And when it detects one, it acts immediately, not after deliberation, not after weighing the options, immediately. Within a fraction of a second, it sends a signal outward through the body. That signal triggers the release of hormones. Adrenaline first, flooding through you like cold water thrown on a fire, and then the slower, heavier presence of cortisol, the stress hormone that lingers long after the initial rush has passed. Your blood pressure rises, Your breathing quickens and grows shallower. The muscles in your jaw, your shoulders, your hands, they begin to tighten, drawing inward, preparing. This is the body readying itself for a confrontation that, in evolutionary terms, might be physical. Your ancient biology does not easily distinguish between a predator in the dark and a difficult conversation at work. The alarm sounds and the body responds. It has been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years. There is a beautiful and slightly humbling irony in this. The very thing that can make you feel so out of control, the heat in your chest, the tightness in your throat, the way your thoughts seem to narrow down to a single burning point, that is your body doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is protecting you. It is, in its own rough and ancient way, trying to help. The trouble, of course, is that most of the things that make us angry today don't require a physical response. They require something far more nuanced, patience, or words, or the ability to step back and see a situation clearly. And the body, flooded with all that adrenaline, is not well set up for nuance. It is set up to act, to confront, or to flee. A psychiatry researcher at Massachusetts General Hospital spent years studying which parts of the brain become active when people recall moments of intense anger, using a kind of brain imaging that tracks blood flow, a way of seeing which regions are working hardest. He asked participants to bring to mind their most vivid memories of rage. What he found was that the alarm structure deep in the brain lit up reliably as expected, but he also noticed something else. Just above the eyes, in the region of the brain associated with judgment and social awareness, there was also activity, a kind of counter-signal, a gentle push against the alarm, trying to apply the brakes. In most people, most of the time, those brakes engage. The initial surge of anger is felt, but then something moderates it. Reason re-enters. But in people who struggle most with anger, particularly those already carrying a heavy weight of depression or exhaustion, those brakes sometimes don't fully engage. The alarm keeps sounding. The wave doesn't break. It just keeps coming. If that sounds familiar, it is worth being gentle with yourself about it. It is not a character failing. It is a neurological pattern shaped by circumstance and history, and, as we'll come to in a moment, by something as ordinary as how much sleep you've been getting. There is one more thing worth knowing about what happens inside the body during anger, and it is something that surprised researchers when they first began to understand it fully. When you express anger, when you give voice to it, let it out, feel it move through you, the brain releases a small quantity of a chemical associated with pleasure and reward. The same chemical that makes food taste good and music feel moving. Just a little. Just enough to create a faint sense of satisfaction in the expression itself. This is one reason why venting can feel so good in the moment. Why it can feel like relief. The body offers you a small chemical reward for releasing the tension. The problem is that the reward is brief, and the pattern it reinforces, the reaching for anger as a way of feeling something, can quietly become a habit. The brain begins to associate the expression of anger with that small surge of relief, and so it becomes a little more ready to reach for anger next time, a little quicker to sound the alarm. It is not a moral failure. It is biology, but it is useful to know. Now, let's talk about what happens when anger doesn't pass, when it stays. Because there's a difference between anger that moves through you, that flares up, that is felt and expressed in some form and then slowly releases, and anger that settles in and makes itself a home. Anger that you carry around for days or weeks, or that keeps returning to the same wound, the same memory, the same unanswered question. Most of us know both kinds, the quick flash that fades and the slow burn that doesn't. The slow burn is the one that costs the most. When anger lingers, it keeps the body in a kind of low-level state of readiness. The stress hormones don't fully subside. The nervous system stays slightly elevated, not at the full pitch of an acute angry moment, but not at rest either, somewhere in between. tense, watchful, tired. You might recognize this state. It can feel like a kind of restlessness that you can't quite explain, a low-grade irritability that makes everything slightly harder than it needs to be, a sense of carrying something heavy that you can't quite put down because you're not entirely sure what it is or where to set it. Small things that would normally be manageable suddenly feel disproportionately difficult. Someone's tone of voice, a minor inconvenience, a moment of being overlooked. The body is already at a simmer, and so it doesn't take much to bring it back to a boil. Researchers who study the relationship between mood and daily life have found something interesting when they follow people over time and track their emotional states. Days that follow a night of poor sleep consistently show higher levels of anger and frustration, not by a small margin, by a meaningful one. And the reverse is also true. Days when anger has been high tend to be followed by nights of poor sleep, which in turn lead to more anger the next day. This is the loop that many people find themselves in, and it is worth naming it plainly, because naming it can take some of its power away. You're not sleeping well because something is bothering you, and because you're not sleeping well, everything bothers you more, and because everything bothers you more, you lie awake at night with your thoughts circling, and so it goes. A psychologist at Iowa State University designed a careful study to test exactly this relationship. He took a group of people and restricted their sleep over several nights. Not dramatically, just meaningfully, the kind of reduction that many people live with routinely. He then exposed both the sleep-restricted group and a well-rested group to mildly irritating conditions. The kind of low-level annoyances that life is full of, noise that grinds, small frustrations, things that don't quite work. The well-rested people adapted. Over time, the annoyances registered less. The sleep-restricted people did not adapt. Their anger actually increased over time. The same irritants that the rested group was learning to let go of were landing harder and harder on those who hadn't slept enough. If you have been short on sleep, and the fact that you're here at this hour suggests that sleep has not always come easily, then some of what you've been feeling may not be entirely about the things you think it's about. Some of it may simply be a tired nervous system that has lost some of its ability to absorb the small shocks of daily life. That is not weakness. That is physiology. And there is something else that happens when anger stays too long, something that lives entirely in the mind rather than the body. It is the thing that probably feels most familiar to you right now, lying here in the dark. It is the loop of thought that won't stop. The replaying of a conversation, the rehearsing of what you should have said, the imagining of what you'll say next time, or what they were really thinking, or whether any of it was fair. The mind turning the same material over and over, like someone who keeps returning to a difficult passage in a book, reading it again and again, hoping it will resolve into something different. This is called rumination, and it is one of anger's most persistent companions. The mind, in a state of anger, is trying to solve something. It is searching for resolution, for justice, for understanding. And because those things are often not immediately available, because the world doesn't always offer clean answers or satisfying conclusions, it keeps returning to the problem. It keeps turning it over. The difficulty is that this searching, however understandable, is not restful. It is the opposite of rest. While the mind is running through the argument for the 14th time, the brain is active, alert, and engaged. The body follows. The nervous system stays elevated. Sleep, which requires a gentle slowing, a softening of all that activity, becomes very hard to reach. You are not doing anything wrong by ruminating. The mind is simply doing what minds do when they sense that something important is unresolved. But understanding this can help, because the rumination is not solving the problem, it is just keeping you awake. And a tired, sleep-deprived mind is not the right instrument for solving complex emotional problems anyway. It is too raw, too reactive, too quick to find the worst interpretation of everything. The gentlest thing you can do for the problem, whatever it is to let your mind rest, not to abandon it, not to pretend it doesn't exist, just to set it down for the night the way you might set down a heavy bag when you come inside. It will still be there in the morning, but you will be in a better state to look at it. There is something that tends to get overlooked in conversations about anger, and it feels important to name it here in the quiet. Anger is almost never the whole story. What I mean is this: underneath almost every instance of genuine anger, there is something softer, something more vulnerable, something that the anger, with all its heat and energy, is covering over or protecting. Fear, often, hurt, grief, the feeling of being unseen or undervalued or powerless. Anger is a secondary emotion in this sense, not secondary in importance, but secondary in sequence. Something happens first, something that feels tender and exposed, and then anger rises up over it like a weather system forming over warm water. The anger is real. The anger matters, but it is pointing at something underneath itself. This is one reason why anger that lingers often carries such a particular quality of exhaustion. Because you are not just carrying the anger, you are carrying whatever is beneath it too. And if the thing beneath it has never quite been named or acknowledged, even to yourself, it keeps returning because the deeper thing keeps asking to be seen. There is no requirement that you figure this out tonight. That is not what tonight is for. But if there is something beneath the anger you've been feeling, some hurt, some fear, some longing for something to be different, it is worth knowing that it deserves your gentleness. Whatever you have been angry about, the part of you that is underneath that anger is not a problem to be managed. It is a person who is hurting, and that person deserves some care. Anger, when it is heard and understood rather than suppressed or endlessly expressed, tends to quiet, not immediately and not without effort, but over time, when the thing underneath it is acknowledged. Even privately, even just within yourself, the anger loses some of its urgency. It has been seen. It has done its job. It can begin to release. There is also something worth knowing about the difference between anger that moves and anger that stagnates. Across cultures and throughout history, anger has driven extraordinary things. It has fueled the push for fairness, the refusal to accept what is unjust, the courage to say this is not right. There is a quality of anger that is clean and purposeful, that points clearly at something wrong and motivates a response. That kind of anger tends to move. It goes somewhere. It becomes something. The anger that causes the most suffering is the kind that has nowhere to go, that circles, that turns inward, or that keeps spilling outward in ways that don't quite match the situation. That anger is not clean. It is tangled up with something, often with exhaustion, or with a sense of helplessness, or with the accumulated weight of things that have never been properly grieved or resolved. If your anger has been feeling tangled lately, that is not a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of what you've been carrying. A large body of research, looking across dozens of studies, has found that the single most effective tool for changing the way anger works in the mind is also the simplest in description, though not always in practice. It is learning to look at a situation from a different angle, not to dismiss how it felt, or to pretend it wasn't real, but to hold it alongside other perspectives, to ask what else might be true, what the other person might have been feeling, what a version of this story might look like from further away. But it gives the mind somewhere to go that isn't the same loop, over and over. That is something to explore in daylight, with rest behind you. For now, just knowing that there is a path through is enough. You might be wondering why we're talking about all of this here in a place designed for sleep, and the answer is simple: because anger and sleep are not separate subjects. They are deeply, intimately connected. Each one shapes the other, and understanding that connection is one of the most useful things you can know when you're lying here, wired and exhausted at the same time. We've touched on the way the poor sleep makes anger worse, but the other direction is just as true, and it is probably more immediately relevant to you right now. Anger makes sleep harder to reach. When you go to bed carrying unresolved anger, when the body is still holding some of that adrenaline, when the mind is still running through the loop, the conditions for sleep are simply not in place. Sleep requires the body to slow. The heart rate needs to drop. The breathing needs to deepen and lengthen. The nervous system needs to shift from its active, alert state into something quieter, a state of genuine ease. Anger actively works against every one of those things. The stress hormones that anger produces are, in a very literal sense, wakefulness chemicals. They are designed to keep you alert and ready. They are the opposite of what sleep needs. And so you lie here, tired, deeply, genuinely tired, but unable to cross the threshold into sleep, because part of you is still standing at attention, still waiting for something, still holding the tension in your shoulders and your jaw that you might not even be fully aware of. The brain's dreaming sleep, the deep, vivid, emotionally rich sleep that happens in cycles through the night, plays a particular role in processing emotional experience. During this kind of sleep, the brain seems to work through the emotional charge of the day's events, filing memories and gently reducing the intensity of difficult experiences. People who get enough of this dreaming sleep tend to wake feeling less raw about things that upset them the night before. The edge has been taken off. The brain has done some quiet work. When anger disrupts sleep, this processing doesn't happen as it should. The emotional charge of the difficult experience doesn't get softened. You wake up still carrying the full weight of it, sometimes feeling as though the anger is just as fresh as it was when you first lay down, even though hours have passed. And then the tiredness makes everything harder, and the cycle continues. This is not a hopeless situation. It is just a situation that needs to be understood before it can be gently shifted. The first step in shifting it is what you're doing right now, letting the mind move away from the loop, even briefly, giving it something else to rest on, a voice, a quiet thought, the simple sensation of the body against the bed. The nervous system is responsive. It can shift. It doesn't have to stay in that elevated state all night. What helps is not forcing anything, not telling yourself to stop feeling what you're feeling or to think your way to a resolution that isn't ready to come yet. What helps is a slow, patient softening, an invitation rather than a command, an easing rather than a closing. And there is something quietly hopeful in the fact that you are here at all, that some part of you reached tonight for something gentle, something that might help. That is not nothing. That is, in its own small way, a form of wisdom. The recognition that you need rest, that you deserve rest, and that the anger and the hurt and the weight of the day do not have to be solved tonight in order for you to be allowed to sleep. You are allowed to sleep. Whatever is unresolved can wait until morning. It will still be there, and you will be better equipped to meet it when you have rested. So that is where we are. We've sat with anger for a little while together, not to fix it, not to argue it away, but just to understand it a little, to see it for what it is, an old, faithful, sometimes exhausting part of being human, a signal, not a sentence, a weather system that moves even when it seems like it never will. You've been carrying something, that much is clear, or you wouldn't be here, in the dark, still awake. And carrying things is tiring. In just a moment, what follows is a guided meditation, something designed to gently work with exactly what we've been exploring, to help the body release some of what it's been holding, to give the mind somewhere soft to rest, to ease you slowly and without any pressure towards sleep. You don't need to do anything to prepare. You don't need to be in the right frame of mind or to have let go of anything yet. You can bring all of it with you. The anger, the tiredness, the unresolved edges of the day. You don't have to be different from how you are. Just stay where you are. Stay comfortable and let what comes next arrive. Welcome back. You made it through the first part, and now you are here, still with yourself, ready to go a little deeper. Whatever you heard, whatever it stirred, whatever small ember of feeling came up, it can all rest now. You do not have to do anything with it tonight. You do not have to resolve it or understand it or let it go in any particular way. You only have to lie here and breathe and let this moment be exactly as soft as it is. So let yourself arrive a little more fully into where you are right now. Feel the surface beneath you, the mattress, the pillow, the blanket, if you have one pulled close. Let your body remember that it is held. You are not falling, you are resting. The ground is here, the bed is here, this moment is here. If there is any tension you carried in from the day, any tightness you have been holding since this morning or this week or longer than that, you do not need to carry it a single moment more. You can set it down right here, right where you are lying. You can just let it be beside you, not inside you. And if there is anything left over from what you heard in part 1, any feeling around anger, any heat, any old memory that surfaced, any face or situation that flickered through your mind, that is okay. That is all okay. Anger has been with you today, or maybe for longer than today, and it has been working hard. It has been doing what it thought it needed to do. And now, gently, it can rest too. Not because it was wrong to feel, not because you should not have felt it, but because you are safe here, and safe things do not need to be guarded so fiercely. Let your eyes be closed, or let them close now if they are not already. Let the muscles around your eyes soften. Let the space behind your eyes go quiet. You are not looking for anything right now. There is nothing to find. Only this. Now let your attention find your breath. Not to change it, not to control it, just to notice it. Just to be with it the way you might sit beside a slow, quiet river. You do not have to make the river move faster or slower. You only watch it move. Notice the breath coming in through your nose or your mouth, however it comes naturally. Feel the slight coolness of the air as it arrives. Feel your chest or your belly lift just a little, and then feel the warmth of the breath as it leaves. A soft release. A small letting go happening all on its own. The body already knows how to breathe. It has been breathing your whole life without you having to think about it. You can trust it to keep doing that. You only need to follow along. Now we will breathe together, just a few times, a little more slowly and with a little more intention. And after this, you can let your breath return to its own gentle rhythm. So breathe in slowly through your nose, filling up easily and without strain. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold it softly, just for a moment. And let it go all the way out, long and slow. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And again, breathing in, gently and fully, holding it lightly, and releasing, letting the breath carry anything tight or held right out of you. One more time, breathing in, holding, soft and still, and letting it all go. Beautiful. Now you can let your breath be free. Let it find its own pace, its own depth. You do not need to count anymore. Just feel it moving through you, in and out, soft and slow. Each breath is a small act of letting go. Each exhale is the body saying, I do not need to hold this anymore. And with every breath, you can feel yourself settling a little more deeply into the surface beneath you. A little heavier, a little more still, a little more at rest. Now, very gently, we are going to move through the body. Not to fix anything, not to push anything away, only to visit each part of you and invite it to soften. Some parts may soften easily, others may take a little longer, and that is perfectly fine. You are not in a hurry. There is nowhere you need to be. We begin at the very top of your head. Bring your awareness to your scalp, the skin across the crown of your head. Sometimes we hold tension here without even knowing it, a kind of bracing, a kind of readiness. Let it ease now. Let the scalp soften and spread as if it were gently warming in the sun. Let that softness move down across your forehead. Your forehead, which is furrowed and frowned and concentrated and worried. You let it smooth out now. Let it be wide and still and easy. And your temples, the sides of your head where so much tension can gather, especially when we have been angry or anxious or holding something hard. Let your temples soften. Let them release. And the space between your eyebrows. If there is any furrowing there, any small knot of effort, let it go. Let that space open up and be smooth. Let your eyes be heavy behind their lids. The muscles around your eyes, so small and so tired, let them rest completely. You are not looking at anything. You are not watching for anything. You can let those muscles go soft and loose. Let your cheeks relax. The muscles of your face that have been working all day, expressing, reacting, responding. Let them be still now. Let your face be as peaceful as the face of someone sleeping, because you are on your way there. And your jaw. The jaw holds so much. When we are angry, the jaw can clench and tighten without us even noticing. When we are trying to stay composed, the jaw is often the place we lock it all in. So very gently, let your jaw loosen. Let your teeth part slightly, just a breath of space between the upper and lower teeth. Let the muscles of your jaw go completely soft. And your mouth. Let your lips rest gently together, or part slightly, whatever is comfortable. Let the inside of your mouth be soft. Your tongue resting easy on the floor of your mouth. Your whole face, from crown to chin, is soft and still now. Quiet and at rest. Let that softness move down into your neck. The back of your neck, where so much tension lives, let it ease. Let the muscles on either side of your spine in your neck grow warm and loose. And the sides of your neck, your throat. If there is anything unexpressed, anything you swallowed today, anything you wanted to say and did not, it does not need to live in your throat tonight. Let your throat be open and soft. And now your shoulders. Let them drop. Let them fall away from your ears as far down as they want to go. Your shoulders carry so much responsibility, readiness, the bracing against what might come next. Tonight, They do not have to carry anything. Let them sink into the mattress, heavy and warm. In your upper arms, let the muscles of your upper arms soften. There is no need to hold yourself up. The bed is doing that. Let your arms be heavy. In your elbows, your forearms. Forward, let them rest. Let all the small muscles along your forearms go loose. And your wrists. And your hands. Your hands which may have clenched today in frustration, in effort, in feeling. Let your fingers uncurl now. Let them rest open or loosely closed, whichever they prefer. Let the palms of your hands be soft and warm. Feel how heavy your arms and hands have become. Heavy and warm and completely still. Now bring your awareness to your chest. The chest which holds the heart, which holds so much feeling. Anger can live here as a tightness, a heat, a pressure right in the center. And tonight, without trying to push it away, you can simply let the chest expand. Let it soften on the exhale. Let the rib cage be loose and easy. Feel your heart beating there, steady and faithful. It has been beating all day, through everything that happened, through every moment of difficulty or frustration or pain. It is still here. Going? You can feel it if you are still enough. Steady, warm, yours. Let your breath move through your chest freely now, no tightness holding it back. In and out, easy and slow. And your belly. The belly is where we often feel anger first, that hot, urgent rise from the center of the body. Tonight, let your belly be soft. Let it rise and fall with your breath. Let it be round and easy and warm. If there is any heat or tension still resting there, you can imagine it dissolving with each exhale. Not forced out, just gently, slowly dissolving. Like warmth spreading through cold hands. And your lower back. The curve of your lower back resting into the mattress. Let it release. Let all the small muscles along your spine soften one by one from the base of your neck all the way down to the base of your spine. And your hips, the hips and pelvis which carry the weight of the whole upper body. Hui, Qi, let them sink. Let them be heavy and wide and completely supported. And your upper legs, your thighs. Let the muscles of your thighs go loose and heavy. There is no need to stand, no need to move, no need to be ready. Let them rest completely. And your knees. And your lower legs. The calves, the shins, let them soften. And your ankles. And your feet. Your feet, which have carried you through this entire day. Let them rest now. Let your toes uncurl, spread gently apart, relaxed and warm. Let the soles of your feet be soft. Your whole body, from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, is soft and heavy and at rest. Every part of you has been given permission to let go. And slowly, quietly, you are doing exactly that. Now, with your body so still and your breath so slow, let your mind begin to soften too. Thoughts may still be drifting through. That is natural. You do not have to stop them. You only have to let them pass, the way clouds pass across a sky without changing the sky. There is a place I would like to take you. a place your mind can rest the way your body is resting now. Let yourself be carried there gently. You do not have to do anything except follow along. Imagine that it is early evening. The sun has already moved past its peak and the light is turning golden. That particular golden light that makes everything look warm and unhurried. You are standing at the edge of a wide open meadow. The grass is long and soft, moving gently in a breeze you can just barely feel on your skin. The air is warm but not hot. There is just enough coolness in the breeze to make it feel like a kindness. Like the world is breathing gently around you. You take a slow breath in and the air smells of grass and earth and something faintly sweet, wildflowers maybe, somewhere nearby. You begin to walk into the meadow. The grass brushes your hands as you move through it. Your feet find the ground easily, softly, each step unhurried. There is no destination. There is only the walking and the light and the open sky above you. And somewhere in the center of the meadow, you find a place where the grass is especially soft and thick, and you lie down. Just like you are lying now. You let the earth receive you. You feel the ground beneath you, solid and steady and ancient. It has been here long before you arrived, and it will be here long after, and right now it is simply holding you. The sky above you is a deep, soft blue, shading toward violet at the edges where the day is beginning to let go. A few stars are appearing, faint and far away, as if the sky is slowly remembering them. You feel the warmth of the earth rising up through your back. The ground has been holding the sun's warmth all day, and now it is giving it back gently to you. Your back, your hips, your legs, all of it warm and heavy against the earth. And you feel something in you beginning to ease. Not because you decided to ease. Not because you forced anything to change. But because this place is safe. Because there is nothing here that requires your guard. Because the meadow does not ask anything of you. If there is anger still somewhere inside you, and there may be, let it be here too. Let it lie down beside you in the grass. It does not have to go anywhere. It does not have to be fixed or explained or resolved tonight. It can simply rest. Even anger gets tired. Even the hottest feelings cool when they are given room to breathe. Think of your anger, if you can, not as an enemy. Think of it as something that has been trying very hard to protect you. Something that rose up because something mattered. Because you mattered. Because something was hurt, or threatened, or lost, or unfair. And it is okay that it came. It was trying to help. And now, here in the meadow, in the golden evening light, you can let it know that you are safe. That it does not have to work so hard right now. That you are lying on warm ground, under a wide soft sky, and nothing is required of you tonight. Feel the anger softening. Not disappearing, just softening. The way a clenched hand slowly opens. The way a held breath slowly releases. The way tight muscles warm and loosen when you finally stop bracing. Let it soften a little more with each breath. Each exhale carrying a little of the heat away. Each inhale bringing in the cool, clean air of the meadow. In and out. Warm and cool. Folding and releasing. You are lying in the grass, heavy and still. The breeze moves over you like a gentle hand. The sky above you is deepening now, the stars growing brighter as the last light fades. There is a sound in the meadow, very soft. Maybe crickets beginning their evening song. A low, steady rhythm, like the earth itself is humming. You do not have to listen carefully. You only have to let it be there at the edges of your awareness. Soft and constant and kind, and the warmth of the ground is still rising up through you. Your back is warm, your shoulders are warm, your hips and legs and feet are warm. The warmth is moving deeper into your muscles, into the places where you have been holding things, loosening them, softening them, letting them go. Your breath is very slow now. You barely have to think about it. The chest rising and falling so gently, the belly soft and easy. And your mind, your busy, working, carrying mind, is beginning to quiet. The thoughts are still there, but they are growing farther away. Like voices in another room, getting softer, less distinct. You do not need to follow them. You can let them be there and let them fade. There is nothing to figure out tonight. There is nothing to prepare for. There is nothing to defend or explain or hold together. Tonight, all of that can wait. Tonight, you only have to be here, in the meadow, in the dark, in the warmth. The stars are fully out now. So many of them. A great, quiet sweep of light across the dark. And you are looking up at them, or maybe your eyes are closed and you are only imagining them, and either way they are there, distant and steady and ancient and calm. Something about the stars puts things in proportion. Not in a way that makes your feelings small or unimportant. They are important. They are real. But in a way that makes the night feel very large and very quiet and very safe. Like there is room here for everything. Room for the anger, and room for the tiredness, and room for the tenderness underneath the anger. Room for all of it. And underneath the anger, if you can feel it, there is something softer. There often is. Hurt, maybe, or grief, or love that was not met the way you needed it to be. Or the simple ache of being a person in a complicated world. Whatever it is welcome here. You do not have to look at it directly. You only have to let it be there, in the soft dark, resting beside you. Let it be held by the night the way the earth is holding you. Gently, without judgment. Without needing it to be anything other than what it is. You are safe. You have always been safe in the deepest part of yourself. And tonight that deep part of you is coming forward, as it does when we are very still and very tired. The part of you that is not angry. The part that is not afraid. The part that is simply, quietly here. Let your body sink a little more. Let the ground hold a little more of your weight. You do not have to hold yourself up at all. Not even a little. Let go of that last bit of holding. Your arms are heavy. Your legs are heavy. Your head is heavy and still. And everything is warm. Everything is slow. The crickets are singing their soft, steady song. The stars are moving so slowly overhead that you cannot see them move, only trust that they are. The breeze is barely there now, just a whisper across the grass. And you are lying in the center of all of it, warm and still and safe. Your breath is barely a breath now. just a gentle rise and fall. Just the body doing what it knows how to do. And the thoughts, when they come, are drifting. They do not land. They move through like clouds in a slow wind. You watch them, or you do not watch them. It does not matter. They are already passing. Whatever happened today is over now. It lives in the past, and the past is resting. Whatever comes tomorrow is not here yet, and the future can wait. There is only this breath, this darkness, thisness. You are so close to sleep now. You can feel it at the edges of your awareness, soft and close, like the moment just before a dream begins. That gentle blur where the world grows warm and shapeless. Let yourself move toward it. You do not have to do anything to get there. Only stop holding back. Only let yourself drift. The meadow is still here. The stars are still there. The earth is still warm beneath you. And you are still held. Your eyes are heavy. Your thoughts are soft. Your breath is slow. Let the night have you. Let sleep come the way it always comes, quietly, without announcement, when you finally stop waiting for it. The anger has rested. The day has rested. And now you can rest. Warm. Please. Less safe. Drifting. Let go. Sleep now.